Hello, everyone. My name is Dalal, and welcome to Popcorn and Soda, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the final entry in the DC Extended Universe, and the sequel to the highest grossing DCEU movie, the original Aquaman, which believe it or not, almost came out 5 years ago, which just blows my mind that it took 5 years for the sequel to come out. But here we are. Jason Momoa's final outing. Fingers crossed that potentially you may see him down the line again as Arthur Curry, aka the Aquaman. So, what did I think of this movie? Did I like it? Did I think that there was a missed opportunity? Did I think what the critics are saying about this movie is right? What are my thoughts? This is a fun movie that I had a great time with. I had a really good time with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, and I'll tell you why. One of my favorite genres is action adventure, and I think that's a genre that is completely been so mistreated and so lost over the last like decade, 2 decades, where there hasn't been any really great action adventure movies outside of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Let's be honest, right? The fun, like Indiana Jones, The Mummy, those franchises have a very special place in my heart because they make you feel. And that is everything that I go back to when it comes to my reviews is how did I feel watching this movie and did it make me feel? And Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I had a fun time with it. I had a smile on my face throughout the movie. And right off the bat, the opening don't take this the wrong way, but like the opening 5 minutes of this movie are literally my favorite part of the movie. And not to say that there aren't other great scenes in the movie, but I just loved how this movie opened up. And it's Jason Momoa. Come on, the guy is literally. What can you even say? He is just charisma in the human body at the highest form possible. He looks like a Greek god. He's got that amazing screen presence about him, that charisma, that charm. Jason Momoa is the man. And Jason Momoa is the best part about this movie. And to be honest, the best part about potentially even the entire DCEU over this last 10 years. Because he's the only one that cracked that one Billy. And a big shout out to James Wan as well, one of my favorite directors. You guys know horror is my absolute favorite genre, and James Wan's been killing that for the last 10, 15 years. So great to have James Wan back here in the director's chair. So, what is Aquaman 2 about? It's a direct sequel to the very first Aquaman. It doesn't take into consideration a lot of the other things that have happened in the DCEU, and it shouldn't. It doesn't have to. It's a direct sequel where we pick up with Arthur Curry's life, where he's now the king of Atlantis. He's a dad now. He's got a kid, and it shows his life as king and how it was so much more difficult than he thought it would be. On top of that, having a child and being a first time parent. So it's a great story told from Arthur's perspective. And of course, the villain in the movie is a follow up from the first one, Black Manta, who is, of course, played by Yahya Abdul Mateen, who I think is one of the greatest working actors right now. He is so good at what he does. And I'm so excited for what the future holds for him because he is a very talented actor. So, another key part of this movie is that there is a reunion between Arthur and his brother Orm, who was the ocean master in the first one, played by the very talented Patrick Wilson. Again, back to the horror roots. Loving this James Wan. Where Arthur must free him from the prison that they put him in because they need his help to help save the universe, or Earth at least, from global warming that is being caused by this mysterious new energy that is being put out into the atmosphere. And it's a great movie in terms of the fun and action adventure part of it. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say that this is the best movie ever made because it's definitely not. And I can tell how this movie would put people off. I completely see it and I get it. And there are scenes in there that felt almost like, I don't know if this is a compliment or a dig. Because it's not a dig, but it's almost like a very expensive Power Rangers episode with some of the monsters that Aquaman is fighting. Just some of the costumes. I was never really a fan of the Black Manta costume. It almost does feel like a Power Ranger bad guy. So I can see how some people would watch this and just roll their eyes, but I had a great time with it. So, what did I like about the movie? As I mentioned, Jason Momoa is one of the most charming actors in all of Hollywood. He's like part of that little crew of actors that just almost play themselves because they're so charming. Like himself, Batista, The Rock, uh, they're just so good at what they do, and that's being themselves, and that's a big testament to them. So Jason Momoa crushed it in this movie. Patrick Wilson did a great job in this movie as his brother Orm. They have such great banter and back and forth. That was a big strength of this movie, is that their relationship is so strong, and I liked it because it was a brother movie. It was like a buddy movie almost. So that was a great part of the movie. The effects were great. Um, there were some dodgy effects where I was like, oh, this looks a little off. But hey, when half the movie's underwater, what do you expect, right? Um, the score, I really enjoyed the score. It had that Pirates of the Caribbean vibe almost, which I love. And I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but there were times in the movie where it almost felt like Momoa was trying to be like Jack Sparrow. For better or for worse. It's like, wait a second, is he doing the Jack Sparrow run? Is he kind of dressed like Jack Sparrow? But yeah, so the score was great, and there was a scene in the movie that I just loved. It's like back to the theme of pirates. It was this scene in which Arthur and Orm go to this like underground, hidden colony of pirates where it's like not known to the people of Atlantis. It's like a smuggler's like location, and it was a great scene because you see all the underground world of Atlantis, all the pirates, the performances going on, and it's a great scene because it's a fun scene. It shows you a different side of this world. It felt very Star Wars Han Solo kind. So it was like Han Solo and Chewbacca meeting, like, Jabba the Hutt somewhere in Tatooine. I loved that scene. Things that I didn't really enjoy or didn't click with me. Again, you have to have that level of disbelief where, some of the things that are happening in the movie are so, I don't want to say campy, but they're very like for children. I don't think that's a bad thing because I think children will really enjoy this movie. So that was something I noticed. Um, yeah, it is what it is. If you like the first Aquaman, you're gonna like this movie. If you're going in thinking you're gonna watch Matt Reeves' The Batman, you're in for a big disappointment because this movie is what it is, and it succeeds in knowing what it is. The tone is set very early on, and from there on out, you know what this movie is going to be. Predictable, very. So that didn't really work with me because I think that's such a lazy form sometimes where if you know what's going to happen in the movie, then like, come on. But overall, like, I really enjoyed this movie. You guys know me, I don't do star ratings or scores. The way I view it is art is in the eye of the beholder. Something that I like, you may not, and something that you like, I may not. And hey, that is the power of cinema, my friends. So, is this a movie that you would watch at a movie theater, stream it at home, or is this like a rainy day movie where you're kind of like flipping through the channels, you happen to land on it, you watch it? I think that this movie falls right in between that little part of watch it at a movie theater and stream it at home. And I'll tell you why. If this is a movie that you're really excited for and you want to take the kids or you want to go with your friends and you want to watch it in a theater, do it. I highly recommend you go do that because it's a great experience. And this is the last time that we're most likely going to see anything to do with the DCEU and Jason Momoa's Aquaman on the big screen. It's going to be a brand new world starting next year with the DCU, James Gunn, Peter Safran coming in. So if you want to watch this in theaters, I would recommend you go do it because you'll have a fun time with it. And this Jason Momoa is worth the price of admission alone. So definitely. But if you're on the fence about it and you're like, you know what, it's not getting as many great reviews, maybe I'll wait till it drops on streaming, that's okay. Do that as well. I think you can have a great time with your family on a Friday night or whatever, watch it at home with your loved ones. And I think it'll be a great time either way. Do I think a movie like this is more amplified on the big screen? Yeah, absolutely. I watched it in IMAX. Actually, I watched it in IMAX 3D, which has been a long time since I watched a movie in 3D, probably years. But that was the only showing that was in my area. So that's what I watched it in, and I had a great time with it. So take my review as be. The last thing I'll say about this, and this is in general about the whole movie critic space and film punditry, everyone has a right to their own opinion. I'm a big believer in that. I actually encourage that, to have your own opinion. But the hate that this movie's been getting, I think it's a little excessive. But again, who am I to say if that's how they truly feel? As long as, that's how they truly feel about the movie, that's fine. But to me, I'm a believer if I'm going to give my review of a movie, I have to be fair in my criticism. I can't say I didn't like it because Jason Momoa sucks. Okay, why do you think Jason Momoa sucks? Like, be fair to the filmmakers, to the actors, and overall to the studio putting it out. So I'm a big believer in fairness, and I think some of the reviews are a little unfair because people are going in with expectations for a movie that they're not going to watch or they're not going to get. And you shouldn't have that. You should leave all your expectations at the door when you walk into a theater or if you're watching it at home. So don't let the reviews bring down your excitement for this movie if you're excited to watch it. And that is why I encourage each and every one of you to go out, watch this movie if you're into it, and then, hey, I invite you to come on back and comment below here, and please do share your thoughts about the movie. So that is my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I had a good time with it. It's sad to see that this is the last outing for Jason Momoa, most likely as Aquaman, and of course the entire DCEU in total. It had a really cool ending in terms of where I liked it. I think that it tied everything up very well, and it didn't leave any loose ends. So that is what I thought about the ending of the movie, and I hope you all have a wonderful time watching this movie. And here's to the DCU. Now it's over to James Gunn and Peter Safran. I personally love the DCEU. That's going to be another video for a whole nother day. But I'm excited to see what my boy David Cornsweet does as the Man of Steel. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day and tuning into my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.